Hey guys, it's Steph again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I was asked by somebody to talk about why Amilyn Holdo, Laura Dern's character, Admiral Gender Studies, Admiral Purple Hair, Lavender Hair, Bitch Face, is a bad character. So let me explain why I think I can do this. I'm married to a now recently retired Marine Corps officer, Colonel. Basically, we have gone from one command to another command. He has commanded battalions, companies, was the Chief of Staff of the 1st Marine Corps Division for a little bit, and actually when the division went forward, he actually ran it from Pendleton, Camp Pendleton. And, you know, 1st Marine Corps Division is famous because, well, I think, let's see, they literally fought all over the Pacific during World War II, the Chosin Reservoir, Vietnam, and hugely famous for the March on Fallujah. And General Jim Mattis, who's now the SecDef, Secretary of Defense, and a brilliant, excellent man, a great, I absolutely adore him. And he's doing a superb job as SecDef. He, you know, as a military man, he understands what's important. Civilians, unless they actually spend time in the military, really don't. So anyway, but he gave the 1st Marine Corps Division their motto: no greater friend, no worse enemy. In fact, a little side note, they were going to make a movie about Fallujah, and Harrison Ford himself is going to play Secretary Mattis. And there's a picture I'm going to attach it to the end of this video of Mattis talking with Harrison at the ceremony for the new, swearing-in ceremony for the new Secretary of the Navy. That happened just this last, August? Well, I can't remember. I got hurt in August, and I think it was the weekend after I got hurt that this happened, and I kicked myself for not being able to go, but I was really laid up bad, so, and no, the horse didn't do that. I did it, okay? So don't blame her. Anyway, so, you know, I've known a lot of generals. I've known quite a few admirals. I've done my own studies. You know, you could look in the bookshelf down in the library and see stuff about Ike Eisenhower, his diaries, stuff about MacArthur, Admiral Nimitz, who's my husband's hero from World War II, General Patton, you know, and we've got good friends who are, you know, 1 stars and 2 stars and 3 stars. Some are retired now, some are not. So I kind of think I have a fairly good handle on this little conversation, this little topic. Here's the problem with Holdo. First off, she is a cartoon. She is not anything like an admiral that holds a high position would be. She's a rear admiral. All right, let me explain what that means. A low rear admiral would be the equivalent of a brigadier general, okay? And basically she'd be a staff officer. Now, she would have her own staff, but she'd be on the staff of a 4-star or a 3-star, okay? She would not be, there might be a command in there somewhere, but no, she wouldn't be exalted. I mean, put it this way. If she was on that ship, the Radis, when it was blown up or somehow got to that ship and Admiral Akbar is dead, Admiral Akbar would probably be the fleet admiral. He would be the commander of all of the ships. Okay, that would be his, it's like the Pacific commander. All right, the commander of the Pacific Fleet is the commander of the entire fleet in the Pacific, from the guys in San Diego all the way up to Washington State and all the way out to Pearl Harbor, and Japan, and everywhere we have the U.S. Navy has ships in the Pacific. That is the current commander of the Pacific Fleet's command. Okay, it's just like commander of the Atlantic Fleet, same thing. And that would be, and then of course you have the Navy Chief of Staff, who would be the commander of the entire Navy. Now maybe Akbar is that big. I mean, he is on, he would be on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay, you got this rear admiral showing up out of nowhere. What did she do? They make her a big deal, but I'm like, is she a logistics officer? What did she do? I mean, of course she's supposed to be a pilot, but it's just bullshit because she doesn't act like one. She doesn't, there's nothing military, there's no bearing. And let's go, when you start looking at how things are run, and I'm using the United States military as my template because that's how it's done. Because that's how I know. I mean, that's my template. They just don't appear and say, okay, they get command and they're, she has to have a reputation and she doesn't live up to that reputation. To me, when I look at her as a whole, she's dressed in Senate robes. I mean, that dress is ridiculous. What the fuck, man? And it's like, look, here's the deal. Why is she dressed like that if she's supposed to be this hotshot admiral? Like this hotshot, and, that's the problem. The way she treats her, the lower, the guys, the staff, her staff, all right, is bullshit. I'm not going to tell you my plan. And she treated, I just wanted, every time she did that, I want to fucking kick her ass. All right? But that's just another story. All right? They are the ones that make up the plans. Okay, she might have an idea. She might be thinking it might work. But she needs everybody's input. That includes intelligence, logistics, her combat commanders, big time, and everybody, communications, you name it, everybody has to have an input in what's going to happen. And then they have to give, you'll have one group having an alternate plan, then you have another group with their plan, and they have to present their ideas. Now maybe she has her own, but she has to ask them how they feel about it, because that's how it works. Okay, that's why she doesn't work. She has no command presence. She's just, what she is a cartoon. Okay, now I want to go back and I want to step back then, and I'll look at this character and who created her. Rian Johnson threw her in there. We find, I just, Friday night, I had a long conversation on the fan cast with world-class bullshitters. Brian Lape, thank you. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to you. But anyway, we had a great time, and they were, someone said, was it there? Somebody else said that they were doing reshoots starting in the March of 2016. And then in April, during Star Wars Celebration, that's when Mark Hamill started saying, you guys are going to really hate, he started really, publicly saying this is not what I wanted to do. Now, weren't they done with principal photography in the previous October? Okay, they were filming and filming and filming all the way from March into April into the summer. They filmed a whole new movie, but this is beside the point. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure if she had, if Holdo was supposed to be in the movie the whole way or not. I really have a hard time believing that she was. It's just she looks like this character was just thrown in. Okay, now I know Carrie wrote all those scenes and all the rest of that bullshit. I find it difficult because there's nothing intelligent, there's nothing witty, there's nothing Carrie about those scenes. So I really find a hard time. Maybe she did, I don't know. So anyway, we have this character that just seems like she was stuck in there for no purpose. You could have done the same thing that she did with Akbar. Alright, and which would have made a lot more sense and been actually a lot more powerful. So where did she come from? Well, you have Ryan Johnson, who obviously is the pea-brain behind this travesty, and Kathleen Kennedy, and neither of them have any clue about the military. They don't know anything. Holdo then shows up in that stupid, crappy, man-hating shit book written by Amy Vincent, aka Claudia Gray, called Princess of Alderaan. And I've heard some really disgusting things about it, which I won't get in because, frankly, they make me want to just punch somebody. I mean, throat punch somebody. And this woman shows up. I mean, this Holdo chick shows up. So, and if now, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna show a picture of Amy Vincent, aka Claudia Gray, and then we'll come back. So this is Claudia Gray, and she is the writer of Princess of Alderaan. She is one of the inventors of Admiral Holdo, and obviously, you can tell by the fact that what she's wearing. She dresses herself down. She doesn't try to be attractive. She goes out of her way to be homely, and her hair color, which is, wow, purple. That she doesn't like men. She has a reason to write women like she does. So, you understand where Holdo comes from, right? After looking at her, unattractive, dresses herself in a way that men would notice. You know, very much the SJW misandrist line of, you know, she's probably, you know, at the Women's March, you know, probably, I don't know. I mean, she's just literally the stereotype of the third wave feminist freak. Okay, she wrote that book. She also wrote the book Bloodlines. She's basically single-handedly ruined Leia Organa and Han Solo because she hates men. And I'm pretty sure a guy like Harrison Ford would probably intimidate the shit out of her because she's afraid of guys like that. Why? I don't know. Anyway, I don't get women like this. I really, really don't. Someone's gonna have to explain it to me and make it logical because it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so she's the one that added all the weird fucked upness to Holdo, and then, you know, everything else. So why doesn't Holdo work? Well, think about it. She's a cartoon. She's a cartoon of every left-wing feminazi, and I said left-wing, and I'm sorry, but y'all on the left gotta understand that your women, your radical women, are freaks. Okay, they really are. I mean, they're. I mean, holy crap, you know. You know, I mean, it's like a font of mental illness going on there, and it's like a flood of it, you know. And Holdo is the cartoon of all that. She's a cartoon, and there's, I mean, the fact that she's so unpopular should be a clue. You know, she pissed me off because she's a hateful bitch, and and Laura Dern is a terrible actress, and the character was not needed. All right. She pissed me off because you don't treat a guy like Poe like that. All right. You don't treat men like that, period. All right. Especially if you're leading them. Her biggest problem as a military officer was this. Well, the way she was dressed. I mean, you know, put a fucking uniform on, okay? Bitch. All right. But her biggest problem was this. She's a woman in the military rather than being a sailor, an airman, a soldier, or a Marine first. And that's the thing that bothered me the most, because she could not identify with the men that she was leading. And the most important thing a leader can do in the military is identify with those guys. All right? And she didn't even try to do it. She treated them like shit, got a bunch of people killed, including a hospital ship, and then, you know, and we're all supposed to go, boo-hoo. Well, good, she's dead. Let's disco, you know? So, that is my assessment of her. She's just, and that's the reason why she doesn't work, is she makes no sense. Now, in the end, I'm going to explain why Dravid Stravin made sense. As the intelligence officer for the rebellion in Rogue One, he was a very good character. The guy that played him as a buff, tough alpha male, and it worked. I mean, that is what a flag officer, a general is, general officer is. And I can never remember this general's name, so if somebody wants to come and say, hey, it was this guy, I would thank it. The guy that played the general who led the Blue Squadron into battle at Scarif, who got killed. That was a tough, rough, badass alpha general officer. Then you have the ones we know, General Dodonna and General Riken and, you know, General Madine, you know, and, you know, it could even throw Han Solo into that, because he got a commission as a general officer. So we could throw, you know, him into that. And considering that Han had spent time in the Imperial military, he would be able to talk to them, talk to the kids that he was leading, you know, identify with them, all right? And that's why they worked. Now, could you get a woman in that? Yeah, of course you could. Does Rian Johnson understand how that all works? No, of course not. He doesn't understand anything. He had to throw a lesbian freak into Star Wars. It wasn't needed. I mean, if you want to do lesbos in space, Ryan, just fucking do one and don't use Star Wars for it, you friggin' idiot. You know, but nobody would watch it, and that's why you did it. You know, I know these things. You know, that's why she's in there. She had no bearing on the story. And I really honestly think that they filmed 2 movies, because her whole character doesn't make any sense, all right? It really, really doesn't make any sense. So, this is my take on Holdo. You know, and of course, they're making a figure for her, but I can't imagine how many they're not going to sell. And they do that. You know, it's another one for the fire pit, I guess. You know, because that's where it's going. If I get one for free, I'll film it too. Okay? So, and this is Steph, signing out. See you around the galaxy.